Thank you for joining us today. My name is Matt Rebusik. I'm the IT director at the Bucks County Free Library. I'm joined today by Zach and Pete, who will be helping us with taking your questions and answering any questions you might have. Um, this today's topic is digital home security, and we will be talking about security systems, both in the cloud and local, and a few other things. This will be our last Tech Talk for this series. We will take January off, and then we will be sending out another survey. This survey may have some more options in it, so keep an eye on your email for it. And if you have any interest in a specific topic, you can suggest it at that time. We'll be back then with your new choices for topics in February. If you have any questions during the course of the talk, you can feel free to send us an email at techtalks@buckslib.org, or you can put them in the chat now. We have enabled the chat feature. If you don't want to send them publicly in the chat, you can send them directly to Zach Kaiser, who is in the chat. Send him a direct message through Zoom, and he will put the question in for our second half. Like always, our first half will be just a bit of a talk um, about digital home security and what you can expect, and then um, we will also answer a few of the questions that were sent in beforehand. And then after a break, we will come back and answer any questions that have been sent in afterwards. Okay, great. Um, so digital home security, what are we talking about here? Um, for a long time, there have been home security systems. A lot of you will remember like ADT and Sloan and Shield, those kinds that had big marketing campaigns. They were systems that went out through phone lines. So if there was ever a contact that was broken or a fire detected, it would send a phone call to their monitoring company, and then they call 911 for you and make sure that you are able to get the help you need in a timely manner. New certain security systems are basically the same thing. They are a system that allows you to monitor your home, make sure that everything's okay, and if you have the right service, we'll also call emergency services for you and make sure that fire or police get to your home in a timely manner. Uh, Obviously, there have been some big upgrades since the original security systems of the 80s and 90s. Uh, Biggest things now are cameras. So cameras, doorbells, spotlights, motion sensors, um, brakes, what they're called, security contacts on like windows and doors. Those are still around, although they have been updated. Um, so yeah, let's take a look at some of the options that are out there and see what it looks like today. So this is a basic system from ADT. Um, ADT still has it was one of the few that still have the home screen where it's actually a screen that you mount on your wall somewhere, or um, a central place where you can modify or arm your system, disarm your system, uh, do any checks on anything. A lot of the new systems run on apps on a phone or an iPad, um, and makes it easy to monitor the system while you're away, or if somebody rings your doorbell with the new video doorbells, you can actually talk to them in real time through your mobile device. Very handy feature to have if you are on vacation or away a lot. You can see who's ringing your doorbell. If somebody's left a package, you can have somebody come pick it up for you, that kind of thing. Um, so there are two major types of security systems that you can get for your home, the cloud-based system and the local system. Cloud-based is easier to install and a little bit easier to manage, but you are also giving data to these companies who have control over your cameras, your doorbell camera. Um, in order to monitor your home, they need to be able to have access to that. That includes any recordings that you make. New cameras will allow you to take a recording of a certain event. If it detects motion, it will make a automatic clip and save that to your account. Um, so those companies have access to that to help with the detection and sending of emergency services. There are also local systems where it is a system that is contained to your house. These typically do not have monitoring. So if a fire was were to break out, it wouldn't automatically call. Mostly these systems are for um, camera installations, and if you have need of watching the outside of the house, or you can also get some of them with the sensors and stuff, but they will only trigger to you, not to a central management system. So if it happens at night while you're asleep, you get the alert, but it doesn't get sent to anybody else. Uh, those systems are very good for those who value privacy over the convenience of a cloud-based system. Uh, they're much because they're local to your house. Nobody has access to any of your footage, any of your data. They can't sell it. They can't use it for AI, that kind of thing. So this is the ADT system. We're going to move on to another one called SimpliSafe. As you can see, very similar. This one has on the left side there, you see the door and window contacts. If when the system is activated and they separate, it will trigger the alarm to go off. On the right, you see the motion sensors, and in the middle is the control pad for turning the alarm on and off, and the voice activation, which you can talk to it and tell it to do it itself instead of you having to punch a code in or tell it what you want it to do by typing. These systems will come with two different costs. You have the cost of purchasing the hardware, and then you have the cost of the service or maintenance of them. That is a monthly cost. For a system like this, the SimpliSafe, we did a little bit of searching. For a basic system like this, you're looking at about $100 to $150 in hardware costs. Right now, it's on sale. It does say that goes up because it's still a Cyber Monday sale. But right now, as of this moment, it's about $150 to get the basic hardware. That doesn't include the monthly monitoring, and it doesn't include the installation if you choose to get installation. Overall, the installation is not difficult, but if you are worried about it, then most of the companies that sell these systems do offer a local installation team that will come out and get everything set up for you, make sure everything's working, and verify that your system is functioning as they expect it to. So for the monthly cost, the SimpliSafe has three options. The basic, which has the monitoring that you expect from a company like this, where if a sensor goes off, they will contact the police, contact fire. Uh, they have a middle tier where they will actively monitor your cameras and from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. and look for anything that is um, out of the ordinary, and they call it active deterrent. So they will use the speakers on the cameras to talk to anybody who shouldn't be where they are, or or call the police if something is going on that they haven't broken into your house yet, so they haven't used any of the or broken any of the contacts, but it looks suspicious. They will watch that and cover it. They also have a third option that is 24/7 monitoring of the cameras. If anything is suspicious, they will again call. The cost for these services are it was $2.66 a day. So it came out to about, for the most advanced 24/7 camera monitoring, it was about $90 a month. For the middle tier, where it's just camera monitoring at night, it was about $60 a month. And for the basic tier, where they're just calling emergency services if the contacts are broken or if a fire is detected, it's about $30 a month. These are general prices. There's a lot of different ways you can go as far as the capabilities, which system you go with. SimpliSafe is its own system. ADT is its own system. There's also the Nest system from Google. And this one is used a lot as the hardware for a system, and then some companies will do the monitoring for you of your Nest system. I would recommend researching companies, finding the price that works for you. There's some that are cheaper, there's some that are more expensive. These are just three systems that are highly rated and generally trustworthy as far as being able to provide the service that they give you. As always, please mind keep a mind to your privacy, and any data that, just keep in mind that any data that they record, that they are monitoring, they have access to. You don't know what they're going to do with it. They could use it to train AI. They could use it for whatever purposes they feel like, as long as it's in the contract. And so just keep that in mind when you're deciding to use these systems or not. The last thing I want to talk about before we get to some questions is the local system that I had talked about. So this is one example of those. It's called the Rio Link. This is a bit more of an advanced setup because you are not relying on a company to install these to monitor them. They are generally wired directly to this box on the bottom, and it's called an NVR, or a network video recorder. You would have to run the cables from this box to wherever you want the camera installed, and then install the camera yourself. As I said, these are for those who are more DIY, who don't mind doing the installation themselves, and require more privacy than a company that monitors it for you. Okay. So some of the questions that we had, do I need to have the Home app downloaded on my iPhone? I deleted it because I wasn't using it. No, you do not. You can certainly get rid of it. Home is Apple's answer to Google Home, very similar. Allows you to control things around your house. If you are only using an iPhone or an iPad, you don't really need it. If you have a Apple TV or that kind of thing, it can be helpful. Um, but if you're not using Apple products besides your iPhone, then you don't need it at all. How susceptible are digital systems to being hacked or to malware corruptions? What can be done to prevent that? So attacks such as are being suggested aren't that common anymore. Um, people, as unlike movies would suggest, people don't really hack systems a lot anymore. What they do is they socially engineer problems by phishing or trying to get you to reveal to them what your login is. Most of these systems have pretty decent encryption, so a man in the middle attack, or where somebody is able to get between you and the company on the internet lines, are um, are possible, but more rare. Much more likely is that somebody will try to target you specifically, send you a text message, send you emails, try and get you to reveal information to them. And once they have it, then they would break in and have access to your system without you knowing it. The best way um, to prevent this is with vigilance. So staying vigilant, making sure that if somebody's asking you for sensitive information, you always think twice before giving it. If somebody sends you an email with a suspicious link, don't click on it. Um, Change your passwords relatively often. Make sure you use a strong password. I recommend anywhere from 10 to 14 characters. You also want to make it something that is fairly memorable, because writing your passwords down is always a bad idea. If you do have to write your passwords down, make sure you save them in a location that is safe, that is not underneath your keyboard. You don't want to do that. Um, there are times when companies will get breached like this, and then people have access to a great deal of data and stuff, not just yours, but other people's as well. Um, you can change this by changing your password. Just keep an eye out for the news if or emails. Most companies will let you know if they've been breached, so that you can react accordingly. Um, so yeah, just staying aware and staying paying attention, being vigilant is the best way to keep from people having access to your accounts. What is being done to thwart Wi-Fi jammers? So not really um, as related to this topic, but still a home security concern. Wi-Fi jammers are devices that are made to block signals, not just Wi-Fi, but also cell service. Um, as such, they're very illegal. They are illegal to be sold, illegal to use. That is the major thing that the government is using to protect against Wi-Fi jammers, is selling these, owning these, using these is very illegal. They Even if you're using it for a specific thing, it can block access to emergency services. Um, it can block critical communication between air traffic control. So yeah, the illegality of it is the main thing that they're doing. As far as what you can do, there's not much. If there is if you're noticing a Wi-Fi jammer in your area, you can contact the police. Tell them that you think something is going on, and they can investigate. That would be my recommendation. If I have cameras on and they're connected to the internet, are then the images viewable to nefarious actors, maybe through hacking? If so, what's the best way to have a video that records and saves for a while but safeguards our privacy? A lot of these companies will only hold data, well, they'll only publicly hold data for 30 days, 60 days. They'll usually tell you in the contract or when you set it up. Unfortunately, if somebody gets access to your account, they have access to any of your saved videos. The ways to get around this, like I said, make sure your password's secure, make sure you're not clicking on anything that you are that looks suspicious. But also, if you are diligent about deleting things. So when you get videos that come through, you'll get an alert on your phone maybe, and they'll tell you that there's a new emotion detected. When you go into it and you view it, once you're done, delete it. There's no need to keep things that you that are false positives. That will keep the amount of data that anybody should get if they get into your account on the lower side. We got a mesh router system and set up 2 bands of internet. We also have our original Verizon modem router, which is probably 10 years old now. Do I need the Verizon device? Should I get it updated? What kind of connection device do I need to buy to replace the modem router? Or do you need one? So keeping your hardware up to date, both hardware-wise and the software on the hardware is important. If you have an old system like that, check your bill from your internet service provider. If you're using Verizon, check your Verizon bill. Under the charges, you may see that they're charging you for your cable modem or whatever device that you're using. If that's the case, you can reach out to them and tell them that, hey, this has been acting funny. Can I get a different one? And they will send you an updated one. If you are not paying your internet service provider for one, if they've given you one to start, but it's now yours, if you want to buy a new one, just pay attention to what kind of connection is being plugged into that device, such as if you're using a cable modem, you may be using coax cable and need a coax connection on your new device. If you're using fiber like Verizon Fios, then you may just be using an Ethernet connection, and you should be good with most routers or modems. Just pay attention to what you're buying and make sure that the connections that you have on your current device match the connections on the new device. As far as privacy, mesh networks are great. It allows you to set up 2 routers at different sides of your house that connect together and makes one large Wi-Fi network for your devices. Because we're talking about digital home security, make sure that I would always recommend, if you know how or if you have somebody who's helping you, set your SSIDs, which is the name of your wireless network, to private. This will stop them from being broadcast and make it harder for people to connect to them, even if they're using a password. So use a password, make them private. Keeps people from accidentally clicking on something, or makes it harder for people who are trying to infiltrate networks to see it, get to it, that kind of thing. Okay, that is all the questions I had. We had been sent previously. Again, if you have any questions now, either put them in the chat. All right, welcome back. We have a few questions to go over, so that's good. What is the possibility of mix and matching of products from different manufacturers? So with the local system I was talking about, it's definitely possible to mix and match. You can use a variety of analog cameras or digital cameras, as long as you have the right hardware to mix and match it. Perfectly fine to do so. With a system from a specific company, um, mostly they're going to use their own hardware. It's going to be semi-proprietary between their devices and the cameras, the doorbell, that kind of thing. So if you're going to pick a company, stick with that company um, and set and continue with it until you're ready to move on. What changes have been coming to this from AI and what are expected in the future? So most of these companies are using AI to, especially the Simply Safe I was talking about earlier, a system like that where they're offering 24/7 protection. They can't have somebody watching your system 24/7. What they do is they utilize AI to search for things that look suspicious, and then they'll typically flag a real person and say there's a suspicious activity here, um, and take a look at it and make sure. And then the real person will look and make sure that nothing untoward is going on and react accordingly. Uh, it's definitely AI is definitely going to play a part in this because it means less human workers that companies need to do the job that you're paying them to do. Um, it still does the job, but it is a computer doing it versus a person. However you feel about that, however secure that makes you feel, just keep it in mind. Usually what will happen is they have what I said, the um, AI will flag something and a human will look at it, verify that something's going on, and then make the call about how to react. Is it a hassle to change from one system to another? So a lot of these systems, the cloud-based systems, um, feature some kind of installation. Whether there's a couple that offer free installation, there's a couple um, that make you pay for installation. Uh, Switching, if you're getting it installed, no problem at all. You can have another company come out, they'll take the old stuff down, put the new stuff out, and you're ready to go. If you're doing the installation yourself, it can involve screwing things into um, windowsills and door frames, um, based depending on how your home is set up. You may need to get up on a ladder. I don't. Some people have problems with that. Um, so yeah, if you're trying to save yourself some money, changing the system can be more difficult. You generally want to put cameras in a higher place to get more of the target area and to keep them from being messed with by anybody who would want the camera looking somewhere else when they're trying to get into your house. Um, so yeah, those kinds of things. If you're doing them yourself, will require ladders, will require drills, screwdrivers, that kind of thing. Um, that is about the only difficulty in changing. Once you have it installed and everything is working, the monitoring company would take over as usual and continue to monitor it as your previous one did. Do these systems all include battery backup for power outages? A lot of them do. The the system will have a central location, a hub usually, and they will make sure that that system has at least a battery that will last an hour or so. Uh, they don't last forever because these systems tend to draw a decent amount of power. So they'll only be good for short power outages. If you have something longer and you need to keep your security up, I recommend getting a generator. And they're very helpful, especially if you're in a more rural area. Um, did you talk about the U.S. government telling us to use encrypted messages? I did not yet. I didn't really consider that home security, but we can definitely talk about it. Does this mean we should use the Signal app? Um, for those who don't know, the U.S. government recently put out um, a call to the citizens saying that more and more there is hackers and bad actors who are trying to get access to anything they can get access to. Your text messages, your um, anything in your home, the things like your as simple as your vacuum, your internet connected fridge if you have one of them. Um, Anything that is connected to your network ex- gains an exposure point. So if what you get is a system that is vulnerable, then people can use that to gain access to your network and and take and gain your data. Um, what the U.S. government recommends is use an encrypted messaging for any of your text messaging or digital communications. Signal is an app that uses end-to-end encryption. Um, Also with Apple, iMessage uses end-to-end encryption, and Google uses RCS. I think it's Rich Communication Service um, to encrypt their messages. There's also apps like Telegram. The only issue with these is that you have to, in order, none of these systems really work together. So if you want to use end-to-end encryption, you have to use the app that the other person on the other end is using. If you are on an iPhone and you're messaging somebody with an iPhone, iMessage is end-to-end encrypted, so your message will be encrypted. Nobody who is in the middle of that will be able to, if they get any data, it'll just be garbled garbage. The same with Google's message app, which uses RCS. Anything between two Android devices will be encrypted. Anybody who uses the Telegram app or the Signal app, anything in there will be encrypted from end to end. But they're not compatible with each other. So if you have a worry about using encrypted messaging, just make sure have a talk with your family or whoever you're messaging, and make sure that they know that you should use this app to talk to them, and make a plan and keep yourself safe. Okay, I think that is all the questions we got. So we're going to end a little bit early, but thank you everybody for coming. Again, we are off next month for sending out our survey. And if you have any ideas for tech talks that you'd like to hear next time, keep an eye out for that and send it in when you get it. We look forward to hearing from you. Have a great holidays, and we'll see you in February. Take care.